Hi, I'm John Paulraj, and this is the part 13 of the Complete Solution series for May 2025 IB Mathematics Applications and Interpretations HL Paper 1 Time Zone 1. Let's roll the intro. All right, here we go. This is question number 13. Let me just make sure that it is there on the screen. There we go. Good. The points are S and T. The coordinates are given, -2, 2, 3, -5, and 5, 1 for T, are the vertices of a triangle. The triangle undergoes or goes through a sequence of transformations in the following order. The order is mentioned here. Okay, this is 1 and 2 is not part of the question, but that's the order. First, the transformation matrix A, the transformation induced by the matrix A, and the transformation induced by the matrix B. So first A and then B. So whenever we say that first A and then B in terms of matrix, that's how you write, okay? B times A or B cross A. Matrix, the order is as important as when we do composite functions. Okay, even there the order matters. So a similar thing, and the matrix multiplication is not commutative. Okay, so we're not talking about matrices as a topic, but if you've reviewed, keep that in mind. Also, what's important in this particular question is that I'm not really sure about the formula booklet. I don't know when was the last time I saw the formula booklet, but this question can easily be knocked off if you are aware of these, the basic transformation matrices. Okay, so if it's not there in the formula booklet, then you got to find a way to come into memory. Okay, what I was just showing, all the basic matrices associated with each corresponding transformation, whether it's a stretch, whether it's a rotation, clockwise, counterclockwise, or if it's a reflection. Okay, those matrices, if you can come into memory, that will be really, really helpful if it is not there in the formula booklet. So if it is there in the formula booklet, do make sure that you write there about that in the comments for me. I don't know when I'll get around to checking what's there in the formula booklet and what's not. So do mention that in the comments for me, please, if you are watching this video and if you have access to the formula booklet, okay? Because with that, then this question is literally, 7 points in your pocket, okay? So because look at that, they've given you the two matrices A and B, A followed by B, okay, in that order, B cross A, and then they're saying describe the nature. Part A is just saying describe the nature of the transformation represented by A. So if you just look at A, the matrix A is cos of pi by 3 negative sin pi by 3. That's clearly counterclockwise rotation, anti-clockwise rotation. Pi by 3 is the angle about the origin. Okay, so if you can just compare with your formula booklet, or if you have committed to memory that cos and cos are positive, sine is negative on the second column, sine is positive here. It's a counterclockwise or an anti-clockwise rotation about the origin, same angle theta. So the angle here is pi by 3. So our answer to part A, should simply be counterclockwise, anti-clockwise, whichever word you are comfortable with. Okay, it means the same thing. Clockwise rotation of pi by 3 radians. Is this clear on the screen? There you go, about the origin. Okay, so I think all of those words are important: the center of rotation, the angle, and the direction. Okay, that's part A. What do we have for part B? It says instead of this sequence of transformation, that means instead of B cross A, which means A first and then B, the image of the triangle, that same triangle, can be found using only a reflection of the triangle in the line y equals ax. Again, there's another matrix associated with that, but this time it's double angle. Okay, the same thing, but the cos in the second column is negative. Okay, the cos in the second column is negative, but like I said, it's double angle, 2 theta, cos 2 theta, sin 2 theta, sin 2 theta, negative cos 2 theta. That's the reflection in the line y equals mx. M is tan theta. Be careful, okay? That's tan theta, and here we're looking at sine 2 theta. So how do we do this part? We can just multiply those two and compare it with this particular matrix. Okay, this particular means the double angled matrix, and then you'll get 2 theta, and using the 2 theta we can then figure out what that value of A is, which is the question. It says given that A is positive, find the value of A. So pretty straightforward, as I said, if you know those matrices. So I'm just going to jump quickly to my calculator. As you can see, number 12 is still there, and this is question number 13, which means 12 was blank. We didn't have to use the calculator. Okay, it was more on the slope fields. I had done a little tip, okay, but that was not part of the question. Okay, so the reason I entered that is because you see, I've already explained in another video that with each problem you have every question where you're the working, and it helps when you're checking the answers at the end. You know, particular question, whatever calculator options you used, if there's a mistake made at the time of the exam. So I'm just following that habit, okay? So in this particular question, I just have to multiply these two matrices. So we can just go through menu and matrix and vectors, create the matrix. We want a 2 by 2, I believe. And we'll enter as it is, okay? So it's B cross A, right? So I'm just going to enter it as it is, okay? Negative 0.8. And is it a 0.6? Yeah, 0.6. And then I have 0.6 here also. And this is also 0.8, correct? Yeah, 0.8. If this question had many more subparts where you had to use that matrix in other subparts, then we could have stored it, just like, you know, you're storing a variable. But this is just one particular calculation, I believe. So we won't waste time in that, okay? So directly you can just multiply the two matrices just by, as you create, okay? Otherwise, as I said, you could have stored this as a matrix if there were several other parts to it. Now, we need to enter matrix A, which is cos pi by 3, negative sine pi by 3. For that, we will make sure first it's in radians, and then come over here, pick up cos and control, and that division sign, and pi is here. There you go. There's my pi and pi over 3. Now, this particular step, you can't do it. Actually, you can. Okay, it's Command C or Control C. Control C, all those shortcuts will work on your handheld also. But getting used to the handheld keys will take time. So do make sure that you practice this enough, okay? Don't just wait for the exams to get to know your calculator. Make your calculator best friend. And I know when students talk to me that this key, okay, let me just show that quickly. This one, okay, this touchpad, it's not easy getting a hold of. On the computer screen, on the computer software, it's much more easier. You're just using the keyboard, all those things, okay? But this takes a little while. So if you've kept the calculator aside, in fact, when you first are playing around with the calculator, this is one of the things I would say, because it seems a little daunting initially, but it's a very, very user-friendly calculator. Let me say that. However, TI, if they're watching, anyone is watching this video, I'll make another video for TI. Okay, but this is something that, yeah, they could have done better. And students, all I'm trying to say is that students, if you're watching this, if you're using the TI, then you need to get a hold of this, okay? The more you use it, the better it'll become, okay? The touch, in a way you use, okay? So the reason I'm pointing out that right now is that this thing that I just did, Control C, Control V, the shortcuts you'd use in your computer will work there also, okay? Control C, Control V will work here also, but get to know your keys. You got to be a little fast there, okay? So this one is with the negative sign, so I'll just put a negative, and then I'll jump over to trig sine of pi by 3 again. We'll bring that template for the division, and there's pi over 3, and now I just need this term without the negative sign, Control or Command, and here we go, and make sure it's in approximate, okay? There you go, it's in approximate. And even if it's not, you should know where to go and change that, okay? Because it's not that every question you need to make sure it is an approximate. It's not like one type of settings for all the questions. Some questions you need exact values. So you should know where to go and change it according to the needs of the question. So this is B cross A, and I'm going to copy it down as it is. You got 0.12, negative 0.12. Remember, this cos 2 theta. These two values are cos 2 theta, and these two values are sin 2 theta, okay? That is what we're going to compare with in order to find our value of M, okay? M is what we want to find out, which they have given as A. So what we're going to do is that we're going to write down using the language of the question, okay? As I've always emphasized, sequence of transformations, sequence of matrix transformations, is B cross A. Make sure you let the examiner know, okay, that this is in that order, A first and then B. And then you copy down what those matrices are, okay? B is negative 0.8, negative 0.8, 0.6, 0.6, 0.8. This matrix you're multiplying with cos of pi over 3. The sine is negative with that same angle. Here it is positive, and here cos is positive, okay? one more time to double check. I think we got that right. And after you've written this thing down, then you can copy it down as you've got. What is that? 0.12, and this is 0.993, and this is 0.993, and this is with the negative sign. Okay, so here we can say, as we always do, using GDC, so that they know that you use your GDC, your graphing calculator, to compute that. This is what you're going to compare now with the matrix cos of 2 theta, and the negative cos of 2 theta, and this is a sine 2 theta, and this is a sine 2 theta. Okay, because this matrix is a matrix associated with the transformation reflection about a line y equals mx, m is tan theta. Okay, so when you compare the two sides, you can say tan theta is sine 2 theta over cos 2 theta. Sine 2 theta is this term, and cos 2 theta is this term. We can pick that, and I'm going to continue writing here. Okay, so here I'll just write down tan 2 theta must be equal to, what is that value? 0.993. 0.993. I hope you know how I got that, okay? Because I'm comparing the two matrices, the entries, second row, sorry, first row, second column, okay? Sine 2 theta, this term, compared with this particular term. Hope that stands out in the colors. Is it? Yeah. Sine 2 theta is 0.993, and cos 2 theta is that first row, first column, okay? 0.12. 0.12. So this should give me tan 2 theta. Okay, so jump over to the calculator, and I'll just show you the sequence of steps what you're going to do that. Okay, so the value you're going to get is tan 2 theta. We're going to find the tan inverse, or arctan as they say, right? Arctan of the answer that you're going to get. That'll be 2 theta, 2 theta, all right? So when you divide 0.993 by 0.12, you're going to get the value of tan 2 theta, and then when you find the arctan, or the tan inverse of that number, you're going to get 2 theta. You've got to divide that by 2, huh? That's you, because you're going to find tan of that value, tan of half of that value. That might be a little too confusing right now. Let me just do it. Okay, so jumping to the calculator, we want to divide 0.993 by 0.12. When we do that, we get a certain value. This is 8.28. This is tan 2 theta. I'm just going to write that here, 8.28. This is tan of 2 theta, okay? Tan of 2 theta. I'll just show that quickly here. Tan 2 theta, okay? And 2 theta then should be equal to tan inverse of that term, okay? So we'll jump to the calculator, and again, tan inverse of that term, right, is going to give me 1.45. This is 2 theta, okay? This is 2 theta, so I'm just going to write down 2 theta is what? 1.45, which means the theta is nothing but 1.45 divided by 2. You got to make sure that you half it. Sometimes students, you know, just doing that at the time of the exam, and they forget, and they just get, you know, that's 0.725, okay? 0.725. Now this is theta. Remember, our question said find the value of A, which is tan theta. Okay, A corresponds to that M, okay? We use M usually for slope, but that A, you can then write down, therefore A is nothing but tan of 0.725, and that would then be, let's jump to our calculator, tan of that term there. As you can see, I'm bringing all those terms just to avoid the errors errors that are compounded due to rounding off. Okay, so you can mention that as 3SF, but then when you're using that to find tan off, rather than using just 0.75, you can bring all the digits and then use, yeah, it's a better approximation, I'd say. So control enter would give you 0.886, and that should be the final value. Okay, 0.886. That's the answer for this. So if you can see that this question, in my opinion, all right, actually would have been just a cakewalk if only you knew this. If this is known either in the formula booklet or you have committed it to memory, then it would have been just a piece of cake, a cakewalk as they say, all right? But I don't know, I really don't know, even now I don't know whether it's there in the formula booklet. So that is why I said either you have to commit to memory if it's not there. But if it's there in the formula booklet or not, I would really appreciate it if you can let me know in the comments. I think that's all the time we have. Let me know your thoughts about this particular video, and if you thought there is something useful you found in this particular video, make sure you like, share this video with somebody, and subscribe to my channel. There are other videos on my channel. I also say that if you have any topic, any concept that you'd like explained, do mention that in the comments and I will make a video for you.